up your engine! People are often asking me about used SUVs, especially reasonable size ones. So today I'm going to talk about this 2005 Infiniti FX35. Now, normally I tell people, well, Infinitis, they're great to buy new. When they get high mileage, they generally fall apart, cost you a fortune to fix. Well, this is slightly different because this is an 05 and it's the sport model FX35 that is only rear-wheel drive. It's not all-wheel drive, it's not front-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive. And sure, when this baby was made, 2004, late 2004, it's a 2005. That's how cars go. If you pass like the third or fourth month, they give it the next year to make it look newer. Renault had taken over Nissan. They just had. It was just a few years before. I see some Nissans that are 2004 or 5 that are still excellent vehicles. Now, if you'd say 2015 or so, I'd say no, they make a lot of junk. But they were still making good vehicles back in 2005. And where was this SUV made? It was made in Tochigi, Japan. Made in Japan by Japanese. It's actually a pretty quality made vehicle. As we look under the hood, we see the ultra dependable Nissan V6 3.5 liter engine. Now, not insanely powerful by today's standards, but this one puts out 280 horsepower. Unlike many more modern cars, including most of the Nissan, it's not front wheel drive. This isn't the all-wheel drive one. This is only rear-wheel drive. When we look under, there's the big old differential, sending power to the rear wheels. Now, granted, it's kind of a fake dual exhaust because when you look under, you can see there's only one muffler. One side does the left and the other side does the right. So it's not a true dual exhaust. That's more for show. But unlike many of the Nissans and Infinitis with horrible Jatco front-wheel drive automatic transmissions, this one is not a problem unit. It's classic rear-wheel drive. It's simpler technology. And yes, they get a little bit worse gas mileage, but they can run forever. As we go inside, turn the key on, we can see this baby has 150,784 miles on it. And guess what? It still shifts perfectly fine. Rear-wheel drive is a tried and true commodity. Been on a long time. You get a rear-wheel drive big vehicle like this can last a long time. Now, of course, being a big, rather heavy rear-wheel drive SUV, which are basically small trucks, yeah, it's no gas mileage. The top you'll ever get in this thing is maybe 20 miles a gallon on a highway, and you're lucky if you get 15 in town. It's a big, heavy SUV, which of course makes it ride better. It's got a very nice ride to it. There's no arguing that. It's not going to be miserly on the gas. But even the modern 2021 big SUVs, they're not that miserly on gas either. Heck, I've driven modern SUVs, 2021s, with a 4-cylinder engine, and they can rate them all they want. But I tried one out and I only got 21 miles a gallon on a highway. And that's a lot newer than this and had a small 4-cylinder turbo engine. The ratings a lot of times don't mean anything. You're always going to get pretty much poor gas mileage if you drive a SUV, especially one that starts to get a little bit bigger. And one advantage of this big old vehicle is, look at the working room. If you got to work on a V6, there's a lot of space to work on it. It's not all crammed in front wheel drive transverse. This is longitudinal. You got the engine and the transmission, drive shaft and the differential. There's a lot of working room if you need to do something. They are not hard to work on. And yeah, as you can see, even back then, the plastic wasn't made that well. Water's getting into this headlamp. This one's still dry, faded a little, but this one's gonna need replacing. If only they used glass instead of cheap plastic. It's a combination they're cheaper to make, and the style. If you're gonna make a curved glass like that, it would cost a fortune. With plastic, they can mold any shape they want. What do they care? It gets to be a few years old, it looks bad. Maybe you'll buy another car and give them even more money. Now, this is all 2005, but look, doesn't look bad. Hey, it's an SUV, and it's still pretty stylish if you ask me. I can't whine about the style on this thing. It sits right up there with brand new ones as far as I'm concerned. The interior has a lot of room. This is the economy model, so it's just basic gray and silver. The leather seats have held up pretty well. A few wrinkles, you're gonna expect that, but they're still comfy. And like most Japanese vehicles, you turn the key, They start right up. And it's maybe a 2005, but hey, it was a luxury car. It's got a backup camera on it. And as we check the back seat, it's not that cramped. The seat's back as far as it goes. There's still room. You put the seat up, there's even more room. The leather seats are in really good shape. I guess they didn't have kids. Got the nice armrest. And if you put the armrest up, you got plenty of room for 2 big people and 1 skinny one. And as we go back, you can see, got a reasonably deep trunk. There's space there, and of course you can flip the seats back and have all kinds of room. And as you can hear, it's a pretty solid vehicle. This isn't some clunker. Solid built in Japan. So let's take it for a ride and see what this old girl can still do. Where you going? This is still a pretty high-tech car. This was the first one that had lane departure warning on it. It's got all kinds of adjustments. It's got heated seats. You can do all kinds of things in this car. Got the old stereo on the steering wheel. Now, yeah, the steering wheel's leather and it's starting to fade and crack and stuff, but hey, nothing's gonna last forever. Now, as you can see, it may be old, but hey, it's still got a reasonably smooth ride on this thing. Being a giant vehicle, it absorbs a lot of sound. Still pretty quiet inside this thing. And being a Nissan, it still handles quite well. Speed and handling, how they sell these things. Now, maybe getting old, but let's see how it takes off. Put it in drive and we'll floor it. It's still got a reasonable amount of acceleration. Makes a nice sound, and what a smooth shifting transmission, even at this age. Like I said, the rear wheel drive, longitudinal engine and transmission, they can last a long time in these things. They're much better than the newer ones are, I'll tell you that, since Renault took over Nissan. You can cruise a long time in these things and you'll be very comfortable. Still has the original shocks, and it rides decent. It's not perfect. You can put new ones on if you wanted to, but hey, it's not dangerous. And as you can see, it's got plenty of ground clearance there. You don't have to worry about being stuck. And it's still got rather large wheels on it for an older vehicle. Big old 20 inchers. And they're still in excellent shape. A few dings from hitting stuff, but solid as can be. No suspension problems, no shaking at highway speed. And if you want to carry a bunch of crap, oh, you got a nice little luggage holder here. You can put even more stuff on the top if you have to. So maybe this will shock you. Scotty's saying this isn't a bad Infiniti SUV. That's because it was made in 2005. It was made in Japan. Got the ultra reliable V6 Nissan engine in it with the 6-speed overdrive rear wheel drive transmission. That's the longitudinal transmission. That's still, all these miles later, shifts like a dream. It's not the crappy front wheel drive Jacko stuff. Back in the day, this was a really good SUV. As far as I'm concerned, this one still is a pretty good SUV. Yeah, it's big. It gets crappy gas mileage. All the big ones get crappy gas mileage. But this thing still runs smooth, and with that rear wheel drive and that big old V6 Nissan engine in it, ha! It might go twice as far. I've seen customers these things with 350,000, and they're still going. Because back in 2005, they were still making them solid in Japan. So now you know the truth about a 2005 Infiniti FX35 SUV. Why? It might not be a bad idea to buy a used one if it's been taken care of like this. Solid, reliable, rear-wheel drive with a solid engine. Not a race car, but not a dog either. You want to carry a bunch of people around in comfort? This thing's still pretty comfortable with those leather seats in excellent shape. And when you price out those brand new giant SUVs, you might start thinking used yourself. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Seth Pigeon says, what do you think of a 2010 Matrix? Just got one. My wife's old car that I inherited is a 2007 Toyota Matrix, and it's probably the best designed small sports utility vehicle ever made. They can go forever because you know what it really is. It's really a Toyota Corolla in wolf's clothing. It's got a different body style. Originally, the original Toyota Matrix was called Toyota Corolla Matrix, and now they have Toyota Corolla hatchbacks, and that's really the Matrix, is what's in the name. They're excellent vehicles. They can run forever, take care of it, change the oil regularly. You never know how long. I've seen them with 550,000. They're still going strong. McProbe says, Scotty, what's so bad about Teslas? Well, one, they cost way too much money. And two, when they do finally break down, good luck finding anybody who knows how to work on it. This is why I'm telling people. Everybody says, oh, Volkswagen came too late to the electric cars. They're going mass. 2022, they claim they're going to have 1 million of them. They're going to make 1 million of them in Chattanooga, Tennessee to sell. And the next year, they're planning on 2 million. They're making smaller ones, and they're going to mass produce them. And you watch, they will clock Tesla's lunch. It took Tesla 10 years to sell 1 million of his Teslas. And it's going to take Volkswagen, if everything goes the way they got it set up, 1 year to sell their first million, 10 times faster. So that's what's wrong with Tesla. It costs too much money. Nobody knows how to fix them. Plus, they're too high tech. They got too much. You get in one, it doesn't look like a car. It looks like a rocket ship. Volkswagen, they're making theirs look like cars, so you feel like you're driving a car, not a rocket ship. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.